I'm Michael Che.
And I'm Colin Jost. And we've got a little secret. Actually, it's a pretty big secret.
Well, now you gotta give the people something.
No, I'm not saying a word.
Oh, then people won't know to tune in. Come on, tell them a little bit.
Like how we're hosting a live comedy event streaming only on Peacock September 12th.
Exactly.
Or how it's called New York After Dark, and it's a comedy show that only features drop-in comics.
Boom, you nailing it, dude.
Michael Che's phone number's...
Whoa, hey.
New York After Dark, some kind of live comedy thing. September 12th, only on Peacock.
You love it.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
77 WABC.
Sid, good morning. This is Izzy from Cedarhurst. I just want to say you're truly amazing. Listen, I'm one of your biggest fans. Everywhere I go, I tell everybody, even last night, my neighbor across the street, I said, do you listen to Sid? Do you hear? I showed him your clips yesterday at that rally. And all I could say is I want to bless you, that God should give you strength and just continue, because, it's frustrating, but there are many of us, thousands of us, that are with you and agree with you. And it's just, that's it. We just got to keep the fight. And that's it. And it's in God's hands. That's the end of the day. It really is. Sometimes we don't understand what he's doing or how he's doing it, but at the end of the day, it's him, and he's controlling everything, and that's what we have to believe. So again, thank you for everything. You're really amazing, and we just know that we appreciate what you do. Have a blessed day. Be well.
Come on, baby. My guy, Izzy Wassa right there. He's just a fan from Cedarhurst. I met him a couple of times. I actually met him through my next guest, Dov Hikind, for the better part of 4 decades. Dov was a tremendous assemblyman in Borough Park in Brooklyn. He has since moved out there to the 5 towns. But Dov contacted me this weekend to do a rally after we found our 6 beautiful hostages dead in Gaza. And I did do it. And Dov was incredible as usual. And his beautiful wife, Shani. She was also terrific, very emotional. While his son, Yoni, was at home pulling all the strings. Here he is, my dear friend Dov Hikind. Good Tuesday morning, Dov. How are you, pal?
Good to be with you, Sid. And, as Izzy said a few moments ago, you were quite remarkable. And it's not just your being there, but it's your whole being that's there. It's your heart, your soul. It's everything. I wish we had more people like you, Sid, who doesn't just talk but acts. And this Sunday was a great example. It was Labor Day weekend. People were home, people had plans, people were doing things, and you and I spoke, and you said to me, I'll be there. Period. It's like. Things don't happen unless there are other people who show leadership and show courage. And, I'm not going to belabor the point, but you are one of those remarkable people that we will never forget. And God is keeping track of all of us, Sid. You know that.
I know that. Thank you. And I learned from you. I learned from the best. And almost like the last time, I almost had to step in again when these 2 black kids walked up to you, right up to your face, which never should have happened. I know the cops were there, and Dennis and the guys did a good job, but how those guys were able to get that close to you. Now, I stepped forward, and eventually they walked away. You continued to just look at the television and continue to talk. You weren't intimidated at all, but right there, here you are, not bothering anybody, holding a rally, and you get 2 hateful kids walking up to you, whispering in your ear, basically, F you, Jew. And that's what New York City has become. It has become, Dov Hikind, grotesque.
Yeah, Sid, I was speaking and I heard the noise and I saw you move. I couldn't, watch exactly, but like many other times in the past, Sid, you just went and did what you needed to do, and that's to protect somebody. That's what you were doing. I did ask you afterwards that the next time, don't protect me. I'd like to actually have the confrontation. But, I love you. What can I tell you? That's who you are.
It is. But
you can't control yourself.
No, I can't. I can't control myself. And it's horrible that it's gotten to that point. But Look, we were out there for a reason, Dov. Really two reasons that you and Ronnie put together this rally. And again, you did a remarkable job of hosting it. One was, of course, to show respect and love for the 6 beautiful souls that were murdered. They didn't die. They were murdered in Gaza last week. And the other, at least for you and I, was to point out that elections matter. That you've got an administration there right now with a president that even yesterday again put the pressure on Bibi, not Hamas, Bibi, a vice president running for president whose daughter-in-law raises more money for Hamas than anybody I know raises money for Israel, right? And who's friends with the squad. Here you are, a guy that was a Democrat almost your whole life, over 6 decades, and even you have come to the crashing realization that the Democrat Party hates the Jews and is killing us. And I think both you and I made that point pretty loud on Sunday. Yes?
Yeah, look, it's so damn clear. And this has become really, people talk about every presidential election that it's the most important, the most consequential. I never say that. I've never said that in the past, but I do feel that way about this election in November. And again, you pointed out the tragedy of the 6 beautiful individuals being murdered, being tortured, shot in the head. And now, as you know, Hamas has released at least one video of this young, beautiful woman before she was actually executed. It's called Executed. They are playing the psychological game.
Yeah, I actually put that video of Idan on my Instagram page. You can view it now. And they claim they've got 2 more, 3 of the 6 they murdered, including Hersh Goldberg.
Sid, these are not human beings we're dealing with. We are dealing with the most barbaric, brutal, vicious, vile, I can't call them people. People do not behave that way. It's impossible. And as you pointed out, and everybody should understand that, during this difficult, critical time for the people of Israel, faced with all these challenges, what does the President of the United States do with the urging of his Vice President Harris? He is blaming Israel. He actually said Netanyahu wasn't doing enough. A week earlier, days earlier, the administration was saying it was all Hamas. It was all Hamas. But now it's all Bibi Netanyahu, and that's what they've done. This administration, they hate Netanyahu. The left in this country hates Netanyahu. It doesn't matter that he is the elected prime minister of the democracy. It's irrelevant. They hate him, and they will do everything in the world to undermine him, and that's what our president is doing right now.
But yeah, and look, and it's horrible that the United States doesn't back Bibi, and our president didn't start doing that now. He's been doing that, quite frankly, for the last 10 months, and Harris. But I almost understand that. But you need to explain to me, because you've been this observant, tough, great Jew your whole life. I just kind of arrived at the party about 10 months ago. You need to explain to me how our fellow Jewish people show up in thousands in Times Square Sunday night, not to scream at Hamas or the administration, but to scream at Bibi. Biden, I get it. Harris, I get it. Goyam, how do the Jews continue in both the United States and Israel to blame Bibi for this mess?
Look, it's sick. It's pathetic. It's nothing new in Jewish history that sometimes your worst enemies are your own people, and that's exactly what we are witnessing now. But you know something? We are going to have an opportunity. I know you'll be speaking there, and some other very well-known people. I believe the ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon, is going to be one of the speakers, and others. The Prime Minister of Israel is arriving in the United States to speak at the United Nations. And on the 24th, everyone listening, this is your opportunity to do something concrete. On the 24th of September at 5 o'clock at East 61st and Park Avenue, East 61st and Park. The Prime Minister is arriving. He's going to be at the Regency Hotel. We're going to be out there to show support for the elected representative of the state of Israel. We're going to show support for the IDF. We're going to show support. The message, let Israel win. If not for Harris and Biden, the whole thing with Hamas would have been over 6 months ago. Sid, you know that. I mean, the Washington, this administration, the State Department, the Defense Department, the White House, they are micromanaging everything that Israel is doing. How the hell do you fight a war in such a fashion, having to look over your back at what Harris and Biden are saying, or having people go out there, you know, without being identified, but every single time undermining the government of Israel?
Yeah.
So we have our chance. Everybody, put it down on your calendar. I don't care what else you're doing. You got to be there. Got to be there on the 24th at 5 o'clock, East 61st and Park. Sid, myself, and I got to tell you, a lot of other prominent people are going to be speaking. But this time, we need to be in the thousands.
Yes, we do.
Thousands.
That's right. They get thousands. I mean, you know, here again, Dov Hikind, you spent almost 40 years. It's a long time as a politician in Brooklyn. You've seen a lot of ugliness, right? I mean, you can date it back to Crown Heights, you know, for Eric Adams to talk so nicely about David Dinkins. David Dinkins was a disaster. And that whole thing in Crown Heights with Al Sharpton and all these idiots, that turned into a complete nightmare. And to this day, the blacks and the Jews don't get along as well as they used to. That all dating back to what happened in Crown Heights decades ago. But to watch 7,000 of what I call terrorists walk in New York City yesterday in Labor Day, forgetting about Palestinian flags. Dove, they were holding Hamas flags. Hamas flags. Some screamed that Hersh Goldberg got what he deserved. Others were throwing smoke bombs in New York City. And the elected mayor says nothing, doesn't say, hey, you know what? We can't stop them, but they don't represent our values in this city. He says absolutely nothing, but collects big checks every time there's a big Jewish event at Gracie Mansion. Do you see what's going on here, Dove?
Sid, again, not surprised in the slightest. A lot of people talk. They tell you they're against anti-Semitism. They tell you they are for, you know, protecting the state of Israel and showing support. But when it comes to what we call the Hebrew word tachlis, bottom line, being there, action, doing something, nobody talks better than the Biden administration and Harris and her husband, but they're full of you-know-what. It's all nonsense. And people out there need to wake up to the reality that we're not going to get a second chance after November. We must make sure. And again, even if you have your doubts, you know, you're not crazy about Donald Trump. Okay, there are people out there, I understand.
Hey, listen, let's be completely honest here. You were one of those people. I mean, last year at this time, I was fighting with you and Bo Dietl and Peter King. I was fighting with your wife at a beautiful luncheon at the rabbi's house.
Absolutely.
Right?
Sid, you're right. And now, regardless of whatever, you know, doubts someone may have, there is no choice. If you're concerned about the future of this country, it's not just about Israel. The future of this country, what's happening in this country, the crime, the immigrants who are invading this country and committing horrible violence all over the United States, including here in our backyard in New York. And no, nothing's happening. Nobody does anything. Some people talk, but no action. So everyone out there, we must support the Republicans. We must support not just for president, but for the House of Representatives, for the United States Senate, wherever you are listening to this. I beg and plead with you. We are not getting a second chance after November.
Yep.
None of us are perfect. Nobody's perfect. But look, we've had 4 years of the Harris-Biden administration. They pretend now, Harris pretends that Trump has been president for the past 4 years. No, Biden and Harris, they've been running this freaking country. They've been in charge. They're the ones responsible for what's going on. They're the ones that are undermining the values of our country. Yep. They're the ones undermining our ally in the Middle East, holding back weapons, undermining the prime minister and the leadership. But you know what? We have our chance for the election. And we have our chance on the 24th to be out there at 5 o'clock, Park Avenue, East 61st, by the thousands. I mean, 10,000, 20,000. To be there and make a statement. Sitting in your house, in your synagogue, in your church, saying, I support Israel. I care about Israel. I'm a friend of the Jewish people. I love the Jewish people. Is all very nice. But it's of no value if you're not out there.
Well said.
Period.
Yep. Well said. And take it from Dov, who's been out there for forever. He's been doing this a long time, and not just New York, but many countries around the world. He's a legitimate hero, and that's why I dubbed him a while back the King of all Jews. I love him dearly, and his wife Shani, and his son Yoni, the whole family. I love all of you. Thank you for hosting me on Sunday. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you.
Can I just mention one thing?
Sure.
I just want to recognize this a good friend, a hero, a beautiful person, Carmine Sabia. You know, this is. I know that Yoni sent you a picture of this thing that this is. We have never met this individual, but this is one of the heroes of America. Someone, he's not Jewish, but he loves the Jewish people.
Yes.
And he's out there and he's doing. And the guy actually sent me this belt, this amazing belt that says, "Am Yisrael Chai," the Jewish people live. I mean, the guy is a superhero.
He is.
What can I tell you?
I actually know who the guy is. He's reached out to me, too. He loves you to pieces, but I believe he listens to this show every day as well, Carmine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Huge fan of yours. And again, Sid, thank you for giving me that extra strength. We all need each other to be strong.
Agreed. I love you, Dov Hikind. Thank you so much. That's a great appearance. Best to your family.